topic, important topic for this interesting meeting and for the aim of this meeting. Before to speak about Carta del Rischio, it's important to remember which is the risk definition. The risk is defined fundamentally by a product of the hazard that we can indicate with H, capital letter, which express the possibility that certain natural events could occur in a specific geographical area. And the vulnerability view, which express the potential damages induced by the event on heritage in that geographical area. So it's a simple expression, a product. But which are the hazards, the main hazards that we can consider in our discussion? Landslides, floods, earthquakes, volcanic eruption, tsunami, coastal and river erosions. All these events can produce on cultural heritage many damages, and in different kinds. The vulnerability fundamentally is the cultural heritage exposed to hazards, also understood as the level of the material state of conservation of the heritage, and express so the exposition of each assets of each cultural heritage object to specific hazards or different hazards together. It's clear that in absence of element of risk, there is no risk linked to the occurrence of specific calamitous events. But what is the risk map? The risk map was born from the need to be able to prevent the impact of natural disaster, earthquakes, landslides, floods, and so on the cultural heritage exposed to them, but also considering the atmospheric pollution phenomena, which can accelerate the structural degradation of each assets. So in this case, we have a sum of different events on each asset. It is an information system to support the scientific and administrative activities of the institutes of the state bodies responsible for the protection, safeguard, and conservation of cultural heritage. And fundamentally, it is based on a GIS, Geographical Information System, which is the most suitable technical tools for producing thematical maps in which we can compare the distribution of the events and the intensity of these events, calamitous events, respect to the cultural heritage geographical distribution. The first GIS on the risk map was created between 1992 and 1996. So it's not a new concept, the risk map, but is a concept in evolution, okay? Above all, using different technological solutions to represent the risk map. The history of the risk map starts from the territorial information system that was developed by Central Institute for Restoration, Istituto Centrale Restauro, with a specific law dated at 19 April 1919, and concerning the organic plan for inventorying, cataloging, and processing of the risk map of cultural heritage, first interventions. Starting from this law, the sensibility of the institutions is increased in time, and all the instruments have been improved, so we can use together instrument more advanced respect to the first GIS developed in the past. Since 2020, it has been one of the operating systems of the General Directorate of Cultural Heritage Security of the Ministry of Culture. So the main aim is to identify cultural heritage at risk of irreversible loss to plan the necessary priorities conservation intervention. On the right, we can see the first publication dedicated to this topic, Carta del Rischio del Patrimonio Culturale, Risk Map of Cultural Heritage. Knowledge of the distribution of cultural heritage on the territory is useful and necessary for three main aims: development of a sector policy, programming the intervention, and planning all activities, and above all, programming the priorities of intervention. For what said, the knowledge is the knowledge of territory, the knowledge of the events, the knowledge of the distribution and presence on territory of the cultural heritage is the base from which to start in building the map of risk. So it is essential to have a database and in-depth studies on territory. Okay, the territory hazards are made available by bodies responsible for such studies, such as ISPRA, INGV, Civil Protection Department, and so on, allowing the system to extract the data and superimpose the position cultural heritage on the polygon on the territorial hazards, as we can see later, thus showing the heritage that is located at, in high-risk areas. The knowledge of the cultural heritage is can be find it in three most important databases. Risk Map is developed by ESCR, CGEC Web of ECCD, Central Institute for Cataloging Documentation, Beni Tutelati or Protected Properties by the Directorate General of Fine Arts and Landscape. And below you can see the link to this database. There is a problem. The objects are that are movable objects, such as woods paintings, archaeological finds, ancient books, sculpture, culture, and so on, are not georeferenceable. So they have been linked to the associated immobile object containers, for example, a library, archive, a museum. So the museum is exposed to a risk, and all the objects included and preserved inside are exposed to the same risk. Looking at the web page, the web page of the site dedicated to Carta del Rischio, we can see as the Carta del Rischio has been structured in different sheets, an environment sheets in which there are different parameters impacted on the heritage, such as biodetergents, suspended particulate matter, carbon dioxide, and UV radiation, and so on. And vulnerability sheets dedicated to the state of conservation from a architectural and monumental point of view. Other two sheets are dedicated to the seismic vulnerability, seismic sheets, and in these sheets are included all the structural and architectural characteristics of each object, and the vulnerability from a seismic point of view. And then last sheet is dedicated to historical center. See. This is the general point of view of architectural and archaeological heritage in which there is the evaluation of state of conservation. And this base is compared with the high seismic risk in Italy. So the overlapping of these two topics can be defined the risk level. This is a general view of the total cultural heritage divided for type of sheets in Italy. So you can see the very high number of objects. And this is another example of overlapping of the flooding areas respect to different objects, and overlapping shows the risk level, the general risk level of each object. On the left, we can see the cultural heritage at risk of landslide for each municipality in Italy, and on the right, the cultural heritage at risk of floods, with two main examples coming from the past. Finally, I want fastly show you a case study of Basilicata with where the regional landscape plan is being drafted, and with our institute ESPC, we have collaborated with the regional Regione Basilicata in a specific project to define the map of risk, a cultural heritage map of risk. The necessary to for planning purpose, the needs arose to verify the direct or possible interaction between the cultural heritage and the protected areas. So we can see on the right. On the right, a density map of the distribution of landslide in Basilicata. And this is the model used to calculate the risk using a metric system in which we have considered vulnerability and different objects to which we have associated a value and a weight respect to the importance, respect to the extension, and the hazard. In this case, only focused on landslide, to which we have associated a value respect to the state of activity, stabilized, quiescent, or active. Velocissimo. This is the metric system and the product of the risk. So vulnerability for was hazard. This is the flow chart of the methodology used for the analysis of data, elaboration of data, and results. In the results, we can see on the right the different zones in which we we have defined the specific risk for each object and the total risk for all areas. Finally, we have some numbers coming from this operation, in which we can see the cultural heritage with the direct risk, 397 objects, respect to a total of 1,643 objects analyzed. So almost the 25% of cultural heritage in Basilicata is exposed to landslide risk. So this imposed to adopt specific strategies to prevent and to protect this heritage. This is an example, and I thank you for your attention.